I'm Margaret Ann Windsor, and I was kidnapped in 41 and brought to Lawrence County, Alabama, Moulton, and given the name of a twin. Both twins, Peggy and Carl, were murdered by their unwed mother, and the family covered it up. I had to use the name of Peggy, and I still do, and I'm reminded when I have had to apply for at social services because I've been shut down money wise. I get just a little. For a long time, I couldn't get jobs or anything. After I was out at Flint's in a political campaign, I'd written a book about mind control, murders, and programming, and being done in patterns because mind control is invisible. So these have been deliberately done in patterns over the years, like next door to me, the Virginia Tech, the 33 students killed there, and then another one that was from associated with Virginia Tech was a psychiatrist, a Fort Hood psychiatrist that shot, and he's on death row. He was born in Roanoke, Vinton, right here. That's in Roanoke County. Now then, I want to say this. I've just found out, I've been putting these up, the murders, and trying to tell what was happened to me. I was kidnapped and brought over here, and I have to use the name Peggy Ann Dempsey Childers. And I remember, well, let me say this. It kind of gets to me after a while. I'm 77 years old. I can hardly get around. And every law in the book actually has been committed against me and my sons. I don't even know where they are now. So I won't go into that again, other than I can't even use my name. Yesterday I was talking to someone, and I had to give them the name Peggy Ann Dempsey Childers, and the date of birth was required, which is, you know, it's a whole, on the birth certificates of the twins, it was a different date than I was given and grew up with, and they actually changed the dates. I've put it up with a pen, the state of Alabama, which is illegal, so all of it's been illegal. But the woman yesterday asked me my name. I have to give Peggy Ann Dempsey Childers. And where was I born? I can't say London, England, or anything like that. Or they'd come out and handcuff me and say I'm lying. Well, someone would turn around then and could use it and say, well, you lied when you filled out or told this application that you were born in Moulton, Alabama, etc., and your name's Peggy Ann Dempsey Childers. I'm not allowed to say my real name. And yet, on one hand, I could be accused of lying. And what did she read off yesterday would be the consequences of lying. I'm not lying. It's this country that's committed the crimes. But what I want to say here before this goes too much, this is when I was flown out to Flint's because he was shot in Lawrenceville, Georgia, while I was doing the book about mind control murders. And I was almost killed April Fool Day of 80 after then. Never got the book published. And I put all this up. I want to mention this one real quick. This is Jens Orings, and he was a diplomat's son, or his father was a diplomat, German diplomat at the time. They're creating scenarios like the Virginia Tech, where it's mass with a rifle, like the Tucson, Arizona, and all of those that, and the media's specifically zeroing in on those that were done in patterns. This is Elizabeth Haysom. They were students at Charlottesville, University of Virginia. Butcher knife was used. He's innocent and she's innocent, and they all knew it when they prosecuted it. So this is Hustler, April of '84, where Larry Flint endorsed me, and he was shot in Lawrenceville. And one of the doctors, Larry McDonald, he mentions here, was one of the doctors I wrote about, and his plane was shot down by the Russians when it veered into airspace August the 31st of '83. That was when I was flown out to Flint's, and he helped me in the campaign in October. So what I want to zero in on here, though, before it goes off, this is a double that married Wallace Warfield Simpson. And my father never married Wallace Simpson. It was a takedown of my father, King Edward VIII, who was married to my mom. I was born in 39 and kidnapped in 41 and brought to this country and didn't know it until 83. I started finding out about my kidnapping. And anyway, that was a takedown of my father and a 99-year seal put on it by the Jews, Rothschilds, Rockefellers, Bilderbergers, the Kennedys, Klan, and Roosevelt, and my own Uncle George VI, who's illegal, and Elizabeth has kept it up. But what I wanted to get into here was I'm just going to put this one up because I looked and I couldn't, some of my videos I found out weren't able to be shown, and I didn't know why, so I started trying to find out about it, and I run across the one about ENNIS Cosby. His father's being charged with the rapes, and I don't know anything about that really, other than it starts making you wonder, because programming and mind control has been going on a long time. It's just that now it's so advanced they can do it without anybody knowing, and everybody's afraid of it. And the mass armies or an individual or whatever. So anyway, here's the only point I'm going to make here, because obviously some of my videos you can't view simply because I'm telling the truth about people and what's been done to me. Their names are so high up, it starts on a roll if the public was ever forced to see it and hear it. It's a horror story of the people involved in this mess. But I wanted to get to this. Larry Flint, I never thought in 83 when I was out there that I'd be in Roanoke, Virginia, living on the Appalachian Trail, freezing and starving because I couldn't get a job or a place to stay. I was shut down. And Mr. Flint ended up, and he had shown me the galley proofs of this when I was out there, and I wondered why, about the parody, and Jerry Falwell, Reverend Falwell of Liberty University here in next door in Lynchburg to Roanoke, where I ended up. Well, I found out because he came here. He was sued by Falwell about the parody, freedom of speech, and his this is so he told the truth. I mean, this man has told the truth and the repercussions for it. But anyway, his probation officer last name was Ennis, and it told about it during the court proceedings. And by the way, Channel 7 here, CBS, took pictures of his legs moving, and they couldn't. I was out there. I met him. I thought it was Flint. I really don't know at this point if Mr. Flint, a Magnum blew him all over the streets of sidewalk of Lawrenceville, Georgia. So I don't know. But anyway, he was here, and Ennis was the probation officer. Can you get this? They prosecute the innocent that tell the truth. And when I resorted to living on the Appalachian Trail, starving, begging, up at Full Heart Knob Shelter, it was a horror story of what I went through just to live. Rangers would come up there, and there's a story behind that one, too, about Eric Smith and the whole bunch. But to get to this, they gave me citations and everything. So they leave out who I am and what's been stolen from me and the laws broken. You don't get that. That made me go there to not be on the side of the road and locked up or raped or killed. So anyway, one of the first times they locked me up and I had to pay a fine, the probation officer's last name was Ennis, the one that was assigned to Larry Flint. I'm trying to show you where some of the scenarios and deaths and murders are in patterns, at least to a degree. And by the way, Simpson was supposed to marry my dad. She didn't. She married a double. I worked for the district attorney, Fred Simpson, in Huntsville till 80, end of 80, when he was up for re-election and didn't get it. And this is going to go off, I'm afraid. It's